This is Quilty. We're going to go ahead and call today's meeting to order. Ms. Laura, can you please do roll call?
Yes.
Here.
Member Boslett? That's not right yet. Member Ciociola?
Present.
Member Corr?
Here.
Member Lamb?
Here.
Member Pretty? I'm here. Member Quilty?
He'll be a little late.
Thank you. And President Domi?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laura. So for today in closed session, we'll be talking about expulsions, personal listing, conference with labor negotiators, legal counsel, as well as conference with real property negotiator. There's no public comments on closed session agenda items.
Correct.
All right, we'll go ahead and recess to closed session. All right, we're gonna go ahead and recall back to open session. Can we go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any requests for agenda reorganization? No? Okay, there's one thing I needed to report out from closed session. The board voted by a vote of 7-0 to reject a claim presented and gave authority to notify the claimant of this denial. Are there any comments on public items that are not on the agenda?
No, there are not.
Thank you. Any questions on the consent agenda? If not, can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion by member Britty, second by member Corr. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 11A, expulsion, suspended contracts, and readmissions. Can I get a motion, please?
Make a motion we approve as discussed in closed session.
Second.
On a motion by member Quilty, second by member Ciociola. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. B, multitudes, dyslexia screener contract.
Educational Services Department is seeking the board's approval to contract with Multitudes for the 25-26 school year. Effective July 1 of this upcoming school year, we have to have a dyslexia screener for K2 students annually. And so Multitudes is one of the three programs after a pilot. We did a pilot with 3 programs. This is the one our district's chosen to use. And so we're seeking approval to enter into a contract with Multitudes for their actual platform to use for the dyslexia screening and for the professional development.
With regards to this, my question is, since it's only a fiscal impact of 17,000, why doesn't this fall under, I mean, this is a procedural question, but why doesn't this fall under consent?
It's very limited in its actual cost because it's a new annual program we have to run every school year. It has to be an action item.
I see.
Can I get a motion?
I make a motion we approve?
I'll second the motion.
A motion by member Ciociola, second by member Quilty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. C, Proposition 28 funding annual report.
This is our second annual report. Each school district gets Proposition 28 funding for arts, for VAPA, Visual Performing Arts funding. So this is the annual report. We didn't hire a certificate or classified full-time staff this year, but we are for next year. And so next year when we do this, we'll have actual at least 2.5 FTE teachers and hopefully some classified staff as we posted this past week for VAPA assistance.
Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve.
Second. We have a motion by member Purdy, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. D, a logo expanded learning to school programs.
What's the program we're going to use? Wow, moving to D. So next school year, currently for our after-school programs, we have sports programming, we have culinary, and next year we want to add arts and theater. And so this would be for 2 days a week, starting effective the first of the school year. We would be working with Alivo on our after-school program specifically for music, for arts and theater enrichment.
Cool.
For,
After school.
well, yes, but for K through 12 or
This is K6.
K6?
I move that we approve.
Second. A motion by member Purdy, second by member Corr. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. E, Sutter County Superintendent of Schools Escape Frontline Contract.
So we're asking for approval. This is our the software that we use for all accounting, payroll, HR. It's not new, but it's just a large enough dollar amount that we'd like to have this board approved as an action item for $163,313.
Any questions?
I do have a question. Is this something that we can maybe expedite getting people paid quicker on, or is that
Not
not?
this, but there's another board agenda item, and that's in regards to our electronic time cards that would not typically put on the board agenda, but I wanted to make sure that you understand that we're moving forward on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I move we approve.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Bonsley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. F, purchase of new buses.
So this is requesting, this is in our ongoing LCAP, and it's part of our bus replacement program. As you may recall, we have had some discussion about electric buses. That's not necessarily off the table, but I will tell you that there's definitely a lot of uncertainty around all that at this point. And so we still need to purchase buses to continue to operate. So we'd like to request an approval of for 2 buses for $375,000.
Diesel buses.
Diesel buses, yes.
And these are brand new?
Yes.
I would think so, but that's price.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Motion by member Quilty, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. G, frontline time and attendance module.
So that's what, this is a digital time card. So this is an add-on product to the escape process that we just, our accounting and payroll system. And we're still doing due diligence on this. We'd like to ask for approval on this, and we believe we're going to move forward with it, but we still have some questions to make sure that it's going to be operational. But we do believe that the benefits to an electronic system is going to improve our accuracy, efficiency, time, and processing, and we're hoping that this is going to help us improve our speed and again just accuracy on all this.
I would love to come in and see whoever's gonna do this and watch, cause I did that job with the time cards. I would love to see how this works.
paper pencil.
I did all that.
Yeah,
And
it's a lot of work.
and it's tons of work. I would love to come in and whoever's gonna work on that, so I just wanna see for myself how it works.
Yeah, well, we're still learning ourselves. So, yeah, and this will be a process. It's not only a new software, but it's also re-looking at all of our processes for how we do payroll. So it is going to take a little time to kind of just get this all figured out so we do it right.
But it is an add-on to our existing company that we use that does speak to absence management, and we'll be doing an
Right,
overhaul of our
frontline.
absence management.
What does absence management mean?
And so that's how we track our substitutes, our leave time,
I see.
and employees that are out.
Okay.
But it hasn't been updated in more than probably 10
That's a good
years.
point, right? So we're going to do a tune-up to that portion of it. So there's, actually, this I thought it was a good way they explained it. Is there's negative time and positive time, right? Negative time is using your leaves, vacation, that kind of stuff. That's the absence management that we already utilize. But part of this, since they work in conjunction, we're going to really tune that up and get everybody on that absence management program, and then add on the digital time cards because they speak to each other.
Mhm.
And so we really do think we're going to get some synergies out of this, that whole process.
Well, all
I
the
can totally
coding
see
and
how
stuff
that
that goes along with making sure people are getting paid out of the right pocket of money and everything else is.
That's going to be the huge lift because it's all about the setup, with that kind of stuff, right? Yeah.
Just all those drop dead.
Oh, yeah.
Go back to the buses real quick.
Yeah.
What's the average lifespan of a bus, do you know?
Well, I mean, I would like to not run buses over 20 years. So I would say 20 years is a good.
That was my guess.
And we definitely have, over half our fleet over 20 years.
Yeah, I remember they're old. I couldn't remember what the average lifespan. How
They
many
do
miles-
look good.
How many miles is that typically? Does it usually, other than age, is it typically is it 300,000 miles, 400,000
No, I
miles?
don't feel like it's that much. Actually, I have that. I think it's more like in the 175,000 miles because it's around town miles, but I can follow up with send
So
out to you
I'm
guys.
just curious, but so somewhat kind of like we use in some ways up for a diesel engine.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of stop and starts.
Goes hard on.
Okay, can I get a motion on G, frontline?
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
A motion by member Ciociola, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. H, approval of 25-26 LCAP
At our last board meeting, we had a public hearing for the LCAP. This is an action item to approve the current 25-26 LCAP. There was one adjustment to it based on review of the attendance on 24-25. We did modify and adjust that attendance rate. There was an incorrect data piece on that one. So it's more consistent with what we saw the previous year, because there was a drop.
Okay, if there's no questions, can I get a motion?
I move that we approve.
Second?
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Lamb, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I, adoption of the 25-26 proposed budget.
So similar to what Tina said, we presented this at the last board meeting, and at this stage, we're looking for approval of the proposed budget for 25-26.
Sorry, what did you say?
Looking for approval of the 25-26
I
budget.
move that we approve.
Second?
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Lamb, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. J, superintendent annual salary compensation.
Well, I don't have much to say besides what's there, but essentially the superintendent did receive a satisfactory evaluation, and per the contract, there's an increase in the salary of 3.5%. And that actually brings the salary up to $263,364 for the 25-26 school year.
Questions? Any motion?
Motion we approve?
Second?
A motion by member Ciociola, second by member Lamb, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. 12, board reports, information, and discussion.
I have a question. I've just been wondering because oftentimes in the last 6 months or so, our board meetings go very, very quickly. And I'm just wondering if we could open discussion at some point about maybe going to one board meeting per month.
Okay. We can talk to the superintendent maybe, if that's the direction of the board to maybe look
I'm not
at-
saying
look
it'd be
into
a
it.
great idea, I'm just saying, I mean, it's 10 after 7 and we're almost through the whole agenda, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we can definitely look at. I know in December we do our yearly calendar, so if we're gonna make adjustments to a calendar, that's gonna be
Right, it would be the.
difficult, right? And then we also have like our
Your board
yearly
policy.
calendar
Right,
thing
and then your
too.
board policy currently is written in terms of 2 meetings per month. And so if it is something that you'd like to provide direction to look at and revisions to the board policy, I can bring something forward to you.
It just seems like one of the things, looking at this and just making it as rational as possible, there are some months that there's a lot more heavy lifting in the agenda than there are in other months. And so maybe not and all the time just one board meeting a month, but certainly, we only have one board meeting in July, and we only have one board meeting in December, maybe expanding that so that, in those months when it's pretty heavy, we have 2, but other months we just have the one.
Yeah, and in the month of June, just because of the adoption of the LCAP and the
Right.
and budget, you
Right, well,
have to, right?
Exactly, we need
So,
2.
right.
So I'm not saying everyone, but
Some.
yeah.
Would the board like you to do some research and to bring back some suggestions?
I'm fine with the way it is, but
Me too. I just feel because you're gonna push things on people that's gonna take longer to get approved, especially when we get into the school years and stuff like that. I just think, and the recognition of the sports teams when it's their time and they're done and stuff like that. I don't know. I personally like the 2 a month. That's just me.
we've missed you, Shelley.
Okay, well, there's 2 that are not for it.
I'm open to listen to it, but
Yeah.
I would also, my concern would be, even though it's short, I also don't want to get stuck here for 4 or 5 hours
Right.
during a single one, so.
Because we have had those.
Yes, we've had,
We've
it's
had
been
those
a-
even when there's 2 of it.
When
Yeah,
we've got
but
2 a month, we've had those.
I just think the approvals for field trips and things like that all come up at different times and you're holding people back by not approving stuff quicker.
I mean, I think other districts are, sometimes just other districts can make it work, but I guess the direction that we would be giving the superintendent is if there's room for, I guess, consolidating meetings or more efficiency or whatnot, she can look into that. And then let us know if there's any recommendations on behalf of her or the team. And maybe that might not be reducing it to
Exactly.
1, it might be making it 3 or starting earlier or whatever that may look like. Are you guys open to that?
So I'm going to just research some information and bring back for the board to consider
Just discuss.
and discuss.
Written communications from the public. Thank you, Ms. Laura. Comments from employee representatives.
That's me.
Great.
I don't have 5 minutes. No Rochambeau tonight. Good evening, board, staff, and our visitors. And anybody on Zoom? You got Zoom out there? I did put out a come join on Zoom, right? Anyway, you know me, I'm Mercedes, and I represent our classified employees. And I missed you last last week when you presented the budget. I apologize for that. I wanted to be here, I just couldn't be here. It's great to see the VAPA assistant. I still don't like that name. The Visuals and Performing Arts Assistant, I prefer the full name, was flown, and I hope we get some response on that because I think that's really going to benefit our kids, especially in those areas. I know we have some dance classes going in at the high schools and some various different things, so who knows who needs some assistance out there. I really like hearing some of the stuff where we're going to be moving maybe a little more efficiently with our time cards and stuff. I also question what that does with some of our staffing needs and to how that's going to impact classified staff. The other thing is that this week or this month we rolled out a notification to change getting our paychecks, our pay stubs in the mail. Personally, I think it's great. I advocated for it. Everybody who's ever seen me probably know that I've said something about it at one time or another. I know I've talked to Scott about it. So I think it's great, but I'm not so sure on the timing of our rollout. School ended on June 6th. We notified our staff on June 16th. I'm going to take a rough guess that about 75% of our staff are not on calendar at that particular time. And when we're not on calendar, we're not really always checking our emails, especially right after school got out. So I'm really worried that some of our staff did not get this message or maybe don't have access to their emails. And so I have concerns with that. I think it's a great program, but I just think that transparency, that making sure that our employees, all of our employees, not just classified staff, but all of our employees have the opportunity to make those decisions in a timely manner. And if they can't get their email or they don't check their email, they're not going to get that in a timely manner. And we can't blame somebody who's not on calendar for not checking their email. So I just be cognizant of the fact that, when we're not working, we aren't always checking our emails. I'm maybe one of the few nerds that do check it on a regular basis. But starting Sunday, I will not be checking it for the next 2 weeks because I'll be out of the country. So
I'll reach out to you.
that's okay. You do that, and I will call you at my convenience.
Yeah.
8 hours different, so watch what you wish for.
Obviously.
Thank you. Have a great summer.
Thank you. Comments from board members? Okay. Comments from superintendent?
Yeah, just CSBA is approaching again, and it is in Sacramento for this year. And so just for your convenience, we did book some rooms at the Citizen Hotel, but we do need to notify them whether or not you'll be staying in Sacramento or driving back and forth. So if you could let Laura know, she needs to release the rooms by July 10th is when you need to notify the hotel. So if you could let us know if that would start planning, if you're planning on attending CSBA this year in December 3rd through 5th.
All right, thank you. Next board meeting is July 22nd at 7 p.m. here. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by member Pretty, second by member Lamb. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.